I got my feet on the ground and I don't go to sleep to dream. Welcome to One Man's Tracks, and today I'm so excited to bring you yet another phenomenal teenage 90s album. An album that's already so full of life experience, brimming with soul, and deeply flavored with a rich, tormented passion. Get ready to experience the growing pains of a complex youth through righteous building and crashing waves of emotion that pour over you on this. Her debut album through the work group in 1996. This is Fiona Apple's Tidal. Such a beautiful array of powerfully performed and poetically penned piano accompanied pop ballads that punch straight through my skin like a needle delivering a cold dose of passion straight into my veins. She manages not to fall into conventional musical structure and crafts intricate tracks that have themes that flow from heartbreak to triumph in just a matter of minutes. So multi-dimensional in her expression, I can understand some early critics not believing that she had written all this on her own, but her career has since silenced those guys. Over a quarter century of fantastic songwriting, this can now stand as a impossible high bar for most singer-songwriters to aim at with their own debuts. So I'm going to stop floundering in all the fanfare and dive into one of this fantastic album's 6 singles, Sleep to Dream. As you may have noticed with my little sing-songy intro, I absolutely adore this song and I can't get it out of my head. Her cadence is just so enticing, her poetry is potent, and her delivery is, as always, perfectly charged. If all I accomplished with this video is to get more people to check out this one song, I'll be a happy guy. This album collects from such a breadth of experience that it can sometimes feel like a bit of a random assortment of songs, but Fiona packs so much into each one that they all manage to flow together, sort of like a youthful collage. Something that is a little rough around the edges, but it all fits in one place. Sullen Girl may be the only track that can effectively follow up Sleep to Dream, in my opinion. She spotlights a terribly painful event and the effect it had on people's perception of her and her perception of herself. She approaches it with a distant tenderness. This tragedy is something that defined her, yes, but it's done and she's trying to move past it. There's a line that kind of highlights the feelings of it. It's powerfully poetic as always. It's calm under the waves in the blue of my oblivion. Just beautiful stuff, and as tragic as it is, there's some gorgeous art that came out of it. Some gorgeous metaphors come up on the more confrontational shadow boxer, swinging in with a bit of a faux swagger, a little bit of confidence that's just a front because she is in love. She's infatuated by the man she's shadow boxing, and she knows that he's not as in love with her as she is with him, and he's just destined to hurt her in the end. Turning the tides with the Grammy Award-winning Criminal, a song about feeling guilty for using her sexuality to get what she wants. This song starts out with a great Dan Rothschild bass line and builds to this groovy, soulful rockin' jam. Then returning to a slower, jazz-influenced swayer titled Slow Like Honey. This one feels like a Bond song with maybe a touch less theatrics. Even after Criminal crashes down to completion, this song proves that she doesn't need a whole lot extra to keep a captive audience. Proving that fact by stripping down the intro of the first taste to just her and her piano, and till then this boom, boom, Latin breakbeat comes in, loosens you up to her sweet seduction. Heaven cannot wait forever. Speaking of theatrical, the string sections on Never Is a Promise really do a whole lot to fuel the imagination. This song feels like the rising action track you'd get on a Disney film, and of course her words guide the story through another roller coaster of emotions, from misunderstood all the way to radical acceptance. Now, The Child Is Gone isn't so much a sad song as it is a song about the reluctance that comes with the loss of innocence. It is kind of an opening up to the vastness of possibilities, but also the complexity that comes with just being older. Second to last is the soft, simple, poetic Pale September. It touches back on themes of loneliness, misunderstanding, and innocence. It is presented like a beautiful lullaby on a calm, cool evening. The closing track taught me a new word, with the title being Carry On, the word for rotting flesh. This song is pretty much surmised in the chorus. There's this abrupt tempo shift. It hits you with this powerful, wide open sort of orchestral feeling, and the words are, "My feel for you, boy, is decaying in front of me like the carry on of a murdered prey. And all I want is to save you, honey, or the strength to walk away." She's always just so honest, so heartfelt, and such a fantastic writer that you can't deny this or any of her other projects. She's since released 4 more critically acclaimed albums. In 1999, she released The Mouthful, the, at the time, Guinness World Record holder for longest album title. I'm gonna just have to read off a sheet here. I can't memorize this one, sorry. When the pawn hits the conflicts, he thinks like a king. What he knows throws the blows. When he goes to the fight, and he'll win the whole thing before he enters the ring. There's no body to batter when your mind is your might. So when you go solo, you hold your own hand and remember that depth is the greatest of heights. And if you know where you stand, then you know where to land. And if you fall, it won't matter, because you'll know that you're right. That's another cathartic project that contains the incredible track that you need to check out, Limp. Then in 2005, she would shift towards a far more playful concept with Extraordinary Machine. I really like the character it has and just how well structured that one is. It feels like she's performing a traveling circus show in a big top. Her 4th album came out in 2012. It's got another pretty long poetic title, but this one I got memorized. The idler wheel is wiser than the driver of the screw, and whipping cords will serve you more than ropes will ever do. It has Fiona once again confronting past demons and insecurities. It's one of her smoothest listens, one of the best LPs she's got, so definitely, if you can, get into the whole thing. But a couple of noteworthy tracks if you don't have the time, or the opener, Every Single Night, as well as the song Hot Knife. Most recently, her album in 2020 was an incredibly timely release titled Fetch the Bolt Cutters. It's probably the most critically acclaimed album of last year. An album that stays true to its name, about breaking yourself free from isolation. It's a poignant message to have at a time like this, and it has been pretty much universally accepted as a great album for not only its unique and creative approach, but just the way it can approach these complex themes unconventionally and manage to add an even more dimensions to this pop legend. With the pairing of songs, you've got Heavy Balloon into Cosmonauts kind of near the end of the album, and I think it's my favorite pair of tracks on any of her records, with some fantastic hooks on them. I'll link all those albums, obviously, as well as this one, down in the description. I'll be adding as many apples as I can find at the thrift shop into my basket after this, and I'm certain you're going to be able to find a copy of this, with over 3 million copies of it being sold in the States alone. Add it to your collection, because over 25 years later, it's still as gorgeous and engaging as the day it came out. What's your favorite song off this album, or maybe just your favorite Fiona Apple performance? Leave me a comment down below, but before you do, make sure you've left a like and you're subscribed for next week's secondhand special. Thanks for joining the club, and I'll see you guys next time. What I need is a good defense, 'cause I'm feeling like a criminal, and I need to be redeemed to the one I sinned against, 'cause he's all I ever knew of love.